Our next guest is Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Music Copyright Society of Kenya. Dr. good morning.
Good morning,
Happy
Eric.
New Year, brother.
Dude,
how are you?
You're well?
Yes.
Yes, good to see you guys. Thank you for inviting me to the situation room. Na muzine karange sana, twende mosmos.
Mugamba lazima buy yellow.
Yellow.
This is our signature, man. I would have let the nation down if I dressed otherwise.
Yeah, if you don't have something.
The Kamba nation requires me. I'm the only man standing.
It's as of duty.
Defending the nation.
It's defending the nation.
The nation has to be represented. It's a very competitive world.
Oh, yes.
Eric, the life is it's cutthroat. Yeah. So you just stand out somehow. Yeah. Represent your family, your community, your country.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
You look dapper.
Asante.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
City is not here. He sent greetings.
Yeah, I miss him. Yesterday when I was told I was kind of, but then I said, okay, just 1 out of 3. I miss him. How is he?
He's all right.
Hope it's not because of anything to worry about.
No, it's because of something. He's been busy.
So he's down?
No. He's busy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was addressing the...
Because they're not man, he's not getting married. I think
he was addressing...
Not that we know of, at least.
Yeah.
He was addressing the men's conference.
Yeah, he was not invited. I was the chairman. I was in the committee.
Where ulienda ingine? You went to the board.
That's when he did that joke about Nyash. Tulimtoa. Tulimtoa. Leto was very clear. Leto was the chairman of the committee this year. That was last year. And, when he cracked that joke, about the Nyash.
It is not a joke.
It's a proverb.
It's a proverb.
It's no proverb like
from
that.
Nigeria.
You guys are crazy.
One day the wind go blow and the Nyash and the foul Nyash.
The things you've been hiding will come out into the open. But all of you heard Nyash and your minds went crazy. But the point of the thing was not
a powerful proverb, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the committee interrogated it and found it rather unsuitable for watershed. Yeah. So it was removed.
This week the proverbs are from Ghana.
And I hope they are within the watershed.
You tell us. Listen to this one. The ruins of a nation are in the homes of people.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? What's your interpretation?
That we destroy the foundation of our nation by destroying our homes. That the foundation, that home, the family, is the basic unit of society. And if we get it right at the family level, everything else. So there are no strong societies or communities without strong families. So the ruins of a nation are within the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daktari, the Music Copyright Society of Kenya. MCSK. There are people who don't know what this is. Is it a government entity?
No, it's not. It's not. In fact, I'm struggling with that because I think because of my being in government for so long, now people think I'm a very senior government officer, which is fine. I read a book in literature called The Government Inspector. So sometimes you let it pass because if people confuse you for what you are not. And Kenyans don't read a lot. Music Copyright Society of Kenya is a CMO, a collective management organization. It's a company limited by guarantee, registered under the Companies Act, and mandated to collect and distribute royalties on behalf of its members. Not every musician is a member of MCSK. We currently have 16,000 members. MCSK was started in 1983. It's one of the oldest CMOs in Africa, and indeed one of the biggest, with the structures and offices across the country. We have regional representation with directors from across the country. They do their elections from the grassroots and escalate it to the top, where now the representatives of the regions come and elect the board or establish the board and elect the chair. So the way it is run, there are musicians who are themselves artists who form the leadership from the regions all the way to the national level, where we have the national chairman and the board. But then there's management, which is professional. You don't have to be an artist. The CEO doesn't have to be an artist. The staff do not have to be artists. We run the company professionally, like another company. The main business of a CMO, like I've told you, collective management organization, is to administer copyright on behalf of its members who voluntarily join. So it's like a chama, if you wish. To empower themselves economically, we come together with you and yourself, and we say, let's put money together, or let's run our ass, or this way we are talented in the same field. So musicians come together and establish a CMO.
Okay.
Yes, it belongs to them. They are the shareholders. So you are talented in music. Then you realize that for you to be able to gain from royalties, you need someone who can administer the copyright on your behalf, in line with the Copyright Act and in line with the Companies Act. So you join a CMO of your choice. You can join by choice, you can leave by choice. When you join, you give deeds of assignment. Like now for MCSK, we are very unique. Unlike other CMOs, we have the deeds of assignment. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
An artist who owns copyright, because copyright is a private right. It's a private property. It's like your phone. They say instead of me going hawking this phone in the street, I give it, we pull it together, and we give somebody to sell. So CMOs administer copyright. These artists who are the authors, the composers, the publishers, the arrangers of music, give us the right to administer copyright on their behalf. So we collect, because they may not have the capacity to go to every matatu playing their music to collect copyright. They may not go to every broadcasting station or every place where there is a public performance and their music is being played. So they give that right to the CMOs. But by signing a deed of assignment, actually what they have done is to authorize these CMOs to own the music and administer and exploit it and sell it on their behalf, negotiate on their behalf. So we negotiate with users of copyrighted musical works, broadcasters, the public transport sector, hotels, bars, restaurants, and so on, who pay, and then we distribute that money to the owners. Yes.
So you are administering copyright.
Yes.
And what comes in as revenue is royalties, isn't it?
Yes.
So, and there are various places where you'll then go and charge the royalty.
Yes.
Like you've said, where there's public performance.
Yes.
You've talked about radio and TV, the most obvious. Then we talk about public places, like you mentioned matatus.
Yes.
You mentioned saloons.
Yes.
Yeah?
Restaurants,
bars, all those places. Where else? That's all local? Where
no,
else?
There are many. I wish I can get the gazetted tariffs, because there are many players in this business. First of all, music copyright is an ecosystem. There are many players. There is the artist who is the owner of the copyright.
That's the singer.
There are CMOs, yes. The singer. We call them the author. There's the author, there's the composer, there's the publisher. There are various categories of rights.
Yes.
So the main ones are the ones represented by MCSK. This business is called copyright and related or neighboring rights. Copyright is the MCSK. Is the people who got the vision, the inspiration, wrote a song, composed a song, published a song, arranged a song. The original rights, the real music right, it belongs to MCSK, those members of MCSK. But then there are other related or neighboring rights, which are assigned to someone like a producer. Yep. So you have the inspiration, you may be talented, you're a young child in Kwale or in Kakamega, you have a song, but you don't know how to produce, so a producer like Ndu comes in, helps you polish, produce nice music. There is somebody who comes in as a performer or a vixen in the video, performing rights to give it more spice. Then it becomes a quality product. But so there is copyright, which is the author, the composer, the publisher, the original, the arranger.
Okay.
And then there is the related or neighboring right for people who are represented by CAMP, Kenya Association of Music Producers, who represent the producers now, who come and now give it the mechanical, they give it the technical elements to make it quality, or for you to produce quality music, and then the performing rights. They are called neighboring rights or related rights. Now, this other, once they have given you the deeds of assignment, that does not mean that they only earn from royalties. No. They can stream their music, they can put their content online, they can perform in clubs and get paid. In fact, right now I'm told in central Kenya, those star artists like Samido and others, when they're performing, even on a Monday like today in a club, they're earning not less than 100,000. So you're paid for your public performance. In fact, royalties, in the current situation in Kenya, the ones from CMOs, they rank between the 5th to 7th rank in terms of revenue streams for artists. Majority of that money is in Skiza tunes. Majority of the money is in their own branding, in the marketing, because you become a brand. If you're a celebrity, if you're a musician and your music is good, you become a celebrity. So you can sign deals with companies to promote their product. In Kenya, people say musicians are poor because of MCSK. It's ignorance, because it's the 6th or 7th category in terms of income. How can that be the reason why they are poor or they are rich? So, but CMOs globally are the mainstay of music business.
Okay.
To whom? So, I wanted to. If somebody has come up with an idea, a piece, it's music.
Yes.
Does that piece and everything concerning it belong to that individual or that group?
Absolutely.
In totality.
In totality. Because it's like, you see this phone?
Yes.
It belongs to me in totality.
Right. And everything
it's
in
mine,
it.
Yes. It's a private property.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what people want to understand, and if you could just make that very clear, is that with this piece of music that I have written, composed, produced, etc., then begin to perform, where does the music society then come
MCSK.
in? MCSK. Where does it come in?
Yeah.
And have anything to do with this thing which we have agreed is mine?
It is yours.
Yes.
That's why I was saying you voluntarily come to MCSK and say, I'm an artist.
Yes. Help me to market.
You even prove that this is my copyright.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. In fact, once you come to MCSK, you don't become a member automatically. There's a very long process, which is monitored through the regions and through people who know you to confirm or authenticate that the copyright is yours. Because you can come with songs belonging to Eric and you say they're yours. We will not have the capacity to determine. So we go through a process. So you take about 3 months and the regional committees process you and then you are given a membership number. When you become a member, you even you sign a form where you declare your works, but also you sign, you give your next of kin, because copyright is business. It's like your land.
Yes.
Kama nduka yako, ngari lako, it is your property. So you give your next of kin, should anything happen, God forbid, but that's how life is, even where we are employed, you give those details. So copyright subsists during your lifetime and 50 years after death. Okay, so it is your inheritance to your children. It is your shamba. So this shamba of yours, it's like giving it to a chama. It is like a chama. Like to empower yourselves economically. You come and say, I believe in your leadership, so I want to join MCSK. Voluntarily. You're not forced by government, and you can't also be forced to stay. You can leave and join other societies.
So I bring it to you as a society and I say, please,
and administer copyright on my behalf.
On my behalf.
Yeah, for the reasons we said. So that we can go to the matatus because we are structured. We are also supported by the government because we are registered as a company. I saw someone who is saying, because you are registered, then you ought to be subjected to regulation. And I was like, everybody's registered.
So, under what circumstances then, having established all of that, can the society then say, actually, you know what, this piece of music is a piece of junk, we're not going to use it, or we're not going to allow you to say this, that, or the other thing?
We don't do that. We don't do that. That's a regulatory element. We don't regulate. However, like now on Friday, we had a special AGM in Manzoni, and we took note of the public outcry about the song. I don't want to mention the title, but the song by this Kisi pastor, or so he calls himself, that is being said to be blasphemous. I don't know whether it's
being said to be blasphemous.
Yes, because it says,
it was reported, what
says
said.
things.
I'm going to say it. You don't want to say it, but I'm sure you said it during your press conference. Ezekiel Mutua angered by a song by the musician is called William Getumbe.
Yes.
And the song is called Yesu Ninyandue.
Now, Yesu Ninyandue in a legal procedure could be a bit controversial. And also, you may say it's right of expression. And as you know, our artists are looking for clout. They're chasing clout. So when you do normal things, you are not popular. You have to do funny things. And that's how we have socialized them to think that you must be bizarre and weird. And you must do crazy things like that. You
just said it yourself at the beginning. Stand out.
This one, the problem is when you veer into matters of faith and look like you're degrading faith. Because you can't do that with Muslims. Oh, yeah, it is dangerous. It is wrong. In fact, the government, even the Constitution, while it protects the freedom of expression under Article 33, it does not veer into attacking people's faith.
So, were you speaking
when you do that, now in Manzoni, what we did was to take note of this public outcry and say this guy is an embarrassment. Yes, is not depicting. This is not what we want our children to watch. So even though it is a regulatory mandate belonging to Kenya Film Classification Board, I wish it is the days I was there. It wouldn't be anywhere on YouTube or anywhere. We said, but we have a mandate, we have a duty to sensitize our people and to set a good example. So what we did is we decided, and the members took a resolution during an AGM that member will be removed from MCSK, but they will be moved through the process. That is enshrined in our memorandum and articles of association. So the journey started on Friday. Today we'll be processing his letter, write it to him, show cause. He will come and defend himself. If he is apologetic, whatever, it's a first mistake. And if he commits to be of good standing, then of course he may not be expelled. But the resolution of the AGM.
I'm trying to understand, yes. And that's why I asked the first question that I asked.
Yeah.
That under you were very clear that there was no regulatory arm of the society.
Yeah, but we are selling a product called music.
However, this music product that this individual then has come up with, you also stated belongs to them within their rights to then produce. So I'm just trying to be very clear about the society's role. Whether it is today or whether it is futurely, because then is it something else that others who are then within their own creative capacity have to then worry about? That is Ezekiel Mutua going to then come after me with the whip and say,
kick out
of the society because I'm doing something within my creative rights?
No, let me make it very clear. That's first not our mandate. Our core mandate. There's core mandate and related auxiliary, stuff that you do. So the core mandate is to collect and distribute royalties for members, is to sensitize them on copyright, is to create a financial literacy, help them to become responsible and manage their finances well, link them with international communities, sign bilaterals on their behalf for other jurisdictions where Kenyan music is used and so on. That's a core. That's a core mandate. However, we don't exist in a vacuum. We are also living in a country where we have a responsibility to ensure that the products that we're in charge of conform to our culture, to our moral values and aspirations, and ensure that we do not mislead people to think that for you to produce a good song and for you to become popular, you must insult leaders, you must promote unethical behavior, you must, for example, you cannot do a song and degrade women. There was a song called Taka Taka. It was never listed in the category by any member as a catalog for a musician for us to sell as a product, as MCSK, because it was degrading women. If you promote cannabis sativa or you promote drugs, you do a song promoting drugs or illicit brew or illicit sex and or vulgarity and profanity, we have a duty to examine that and in conjunction with other arms of the government, then take action. Every membership to an organization has a code. There must be a code of discipline, a code of ethics that you subscribe to. The members' meeting in Manzoni at a properly convened special general meeting decided that song is embarrassing the organization, is putting us in bad light, and it encourages bad behavior where if you allow catch of anything goes, we are going to have people singing songs that promote murder, and lesbianism and all those kind of things that are considered to be against the law, much as there is freedom of expression and much as this is not our core mandate. We are just trying to be a responsible organization that plays within the space that promotes our culture. And music is powerful. Music is a powerful vehicle for social cultural transformation. So you can't just allow people to sing anything and promote madness in the name of songs and degrade women, promote promiscuity in the name of creativity, promote unethical and social behavior, and you allow it. You'd be irresponsible. Like I told you, Eric, this is a product, like my phone.
Yeah.
If we say we are forming a company to be selling our, where or wherever we have, we must ensure that part of that way is not cannabis. Yeah. It's not things that are illegal. It's not things that are against the law. That's what we are trying to say, but then, that stick within the law. And then we are going ahead to educate them. That's why we said, unlike others who can say, pull it down, expel them, we are committing this guy to a process so that you come and say, you never know, you might come and convince the panel.
He'll come and give you context, for example, and tell you, you have a problem with the word Ninyandue, but listen to the song, the context.
Yeah, but decency. Decency is an important thing in society.
What is decency about Ninyandue?
Decency. There was a song called Tetema.
What's indecent about?
Did you listen to the song called Tetema?
Yes, by Diamond.
By Diamond.
Yes.
Tetema, in its natural meaning, there's nothing wrong with Tetema. Tetema, it just means shake.
Yeah.
Tetema. But if you listen to the lyrics, these are the kind of things. And there were some very senior politicians who were singing this thing in political rallies. And it went to schools where a small girl is twerking and she's singing to the mother Tetema. Listen to the words. Haya Tetema, Tetema, oh mama Tetema. Tipwa, tipwa, Tetema, oh mama. Then come to the climax. The climax is haya twende Tetema. Tetema katoto kamenoga na kaza dizi za Mbukoba na kapatisha bondaboda kakichapo kuchuma bonga.
You seem to know this song.
What
mama
is wrong?
Shigidi nakufa wikidi.
What is wrong with
mama
those?
Shigidi nogi fire moto liquidi. What nonsense is this?
What's wrong with that?
You don't see?
What's wrong with shigidi mama woi na kufa? What's wrong with
coded. The difference with Tanzanians, they code. They don't just say Ninyandue. They will say it will look cool. It will look something cool. What is this now? Shikidi liquidi nonsense.
What's wrong with shikidi liquidi?
You don't see? You want your kids to be singing like
what
that?
What is wrong? Haya Tetema. What's wrong? This is Ezekiel. Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, the CEO of the Music Copyright Society of Kenya, want to understand MCSK and the work that it does, and also seeking to understand royalties, copyright royalties, collection of this, and how artists can maximize the value of the work. People call you Deputy Jesus. And
that's I told you the things that people... Christianity has become a mockery. Eh? You can't call Muhammad anything other than Muhammad. Mutume. Yes, na unamuita na heshima. Mutume subhana wa ta'ala. You don't joke with that space. It's only here where, because of funny things that are happening in church, we have really diluted the faith and we don't take it seriously. So when you hear people calling other Deputy Jesus, it's wrong. It's wrong. First of all.
What should they call you? Parallel Archbishop?
No. I'm the CEO of Music Copyright Society of Kenya. If I say the things I'm saying and they say this song is wrong, it does not mean that I'm holier than thou, because that was the kind
connotation.
Of... They started with moral cop, then they realized it was not affecting me. So we live in a funny country where the media should also not promote some of those things. But the things that border on faith are very serious.
Let's leave
we should not call anyone
Deputy.
Deputy.
I want to get into now the job of the MCSK.
Yes.
You collect royalties and distribute royalties on behalf of your 16,000 members currently.
At the moment, yeah. Now they're joining in gloves,
Do you collect them only in the country, or if Samido's music, assuming Samido is your member?
Yeah.
Is he?
He is, yeah. So one of the highest earners.
If Samido's music is played, for example, in the Middle East, in America, in other countries.
Yes.
How does he get that?
We sign, they are called reciprocal agreements with other countries. So all those CMOs in those countries, from Jamaica we have over 100 reciprocal agreements. And the whole idea is they collect on our behalf the Kenyan music played in their jurisdiction.
Right.
And they share the money with us.
And then you collect on their
Then
behalf.
we collect on their behalf
in
and
this
pay
country.
as well. That's why sometimes when you hear people saying, oh, you collected this amount and you only paid the artist this much, they don't consider that we also have international obligations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Mutua, I think it's important because a lot of folks, they think, okay, Kenyan artists, fantastic. How do they not make music or rather make money?
Yeah.
So could you explain how royalties work? Because when you say you collect mop up, the assumption is that people are paying Kenya because the artists are out there and then now you come and distribute here.
Yeah.
How exactly do royalties work so that we can now understand how
Let's
they
talk
get
the
paid?
business of music because it's not just royalties as per the CMOs. The business of music first is your own composition, the quality of your production. Yes, it has to be good. It has to resonate. It has to be, just like a story. It has to be topical, relevant, proximity. You know, the news values. The same way, it has to affect you. So if someone sings, I enjoyed a song by a girl from Mukambani called Aume Matelemia. You know, Aume Matelemia is in my language. It means the men have just become scarecrows. They are not doing their responsibilities at home. They have left the duties to the women. That girl charges the crowd with that song, but it is introspection. It speaks to your heart because it's a real situation right now. Many mothers are the ones who are taking their kids to school. So the work of an artist is not just to make money. First of all, it's an agent of societal progression.
Okay.
Morals. They are like seers. They are gifted by God the Creator with the ability to create songs that challenge or prick our conscience to think differently. So they demonize wrong things. They scandalize evil. They put the spotlight on, like now, behavior like that one of men running away from their responsibilities and leaving women to bear all the burden of running the home. They are taking care of children and so on. That's a good song.
Okay.
So that song resonates with the current situation. So it's going viral. Okay. If you sing a song that is relevant, it's good production. So you'll make money. And then it brands you. You become a celebrity. You become a brand. So you can use it to be in a station like this because you are loved by people. So when you are running, when the show is by Latif and is this guy, the one who sang this song, that adds value. So there's so much. That's why, for example, Mwalimu Kenganyi, he does not just rely on comedy. He's on radio every morning. But the other guys who think they will sing and sleep the whole day and night, and the money will come. So we need to understand that business.
Now,
and then I talked about the ecosystem. The ecosystem. You do a good song, you are a member of MCSK, we will collect for you if it's playing in clubs.
Okay.
Royalties are seasonal. While the copyright exists for lifetime and 50 years after death, you realize that when, for example, let me use Vida, the guy who did Vida, when he came to my office, that song was the top. But because of the lack of ecosystem, we didn't have a license, so clubs are playing it for free. He's not able to collect from the clubs. He was only getting money from his own performances. But we were not collecting because we didn't have a license from the government. And that's why I talked about the ecosystem. If the government does not give us a license and you produce a kibao ambayo inaimbwa kila mahali, but that time, the CMOs are not collecting. Then there's a problem. Number 3, there must be proper tariffs gazetted by the government in line with the Copyright Act. So the minister in charge of the sector gazettes the tariffs for music. Because music is a product. So that, you know, if you are in a club in Kawangware, these are the rates for that club of this size.
Okay.
If you're a media house with this kind of, reach, these are your rates.
So it's not standard.
And they go through public participation. No, it's not standard. What you pay is not what another guy will pay. They are different. And they go through public participation. We involve all the players, including consumers.
Yeah.
Then now we come to the consumers themselves. Broadcasting stations, for instance, they must pay. Right now as we speak, broadcasting stations owe CMOs 1.4 billion. We collected last year 200 million or thereabout, and it amounted to 15% compliance. So more money is out there. It's not collected. Why? Because the government must give enforcement. For example, Matatu industry has not paid since 2019. Because you can't go out there in Mombasa Road and stand on the road and stop the Matatu to check whether they have a license. You need the police. These are private property, but just the same way, if somebody steals my phone, the government will not tell me, run after him. catch him, get your phone. No, I will tell the police, Mwizi. And they will arrest the Mwizi because the work of enforcing the law is the work of the government. So you see how it works? So if there is a breakdown in one area, in the ecosystem, I can tell you musicians will be poor forever.
So right now, as things stand, how is this ecosystem?
The ecosystem
number
is...
one,
Yeah.
do we have the tariffs in place?
Yes. They were gazetted by C.S. Ababuna Mwamba. That is one guy who knows his business.
So the tariffs are in place?
Oh, yes. They
And
were
they're
gazetted in
different.
July last year.
They're truncated.
Up
they're
to
different.
date, very good tariffs.
Spice
I think
FM
we're among
will pay
the best.
different from Berur FM.
Oh, yes. They are
Berur will pay
categorized
different
through a public participation process.
Okay.
Yes.
Clubs will pay different depending on
And they are
size
paying
and all.
very well, by the way. For the first time, I must commend some of our clients. There's some of these chains, retail chains that have not been paying. Of course, due from COVID and the business was bad.
Yeah.
Now they are voluntarily paying.
And what
By
is
the
it
way,
that they
when
pay?
they pay like that, what it means is we are spending less money on litigation. We don't have to sue them.
What is it that they pay? So, when, for example, if you walk into a club and you say, I want you to pay for the music that you're playing.
Yes.
Are you charging per day, per hour?
No.
per
Like I've told you,
artist?
they are tariffs.
So
They are
what is it?
tariffs. You know, Eric, we are so scientific
So
and
what is this that-
professional.
so how does it happen?
If you do star, you want to try that? Do you have your phone with you?
Yes.
Please try star. Yeah, star 553 hash. You can self-license. It will take you to select service. So you pay license.
Welcome.
Okay,
to
you say
KPM
pay
licensing.
license. You see, it is leading you. It says where were you assisted by KPM agent. So if I'm an agent, I'll show you my number. If you did it on yourself, you'll continue.
So it's paying,
Until
it's
you
paying
say
for a license.
You say I'm Spice FM. I'm based in Mombasa Road. I am here, and it will tell you how much you should pay.
I see.
Yeah.
So you pay a one-off.
It's a 1
standard-
year. It's an annual license, just like broadcasting. You guys are licensed by Kenya Communications Authority of Kenya.
Yes, we are.
You get it yearly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is the same way it works.
Once you receive the money from Spice FM
Yes.
and I've paid an annual license.
Yes.
How do you then break it down into individual members?
There are two ways now.
know
That's
how
now
the members
royalty
go.
distribution. Right. First of all, like for this media house, you might find it's just about not more than 10 million. I think it's much less per year. So we have to collect from a lot of people. We have 16,000 members. So even if you're under 100 million, it is peanuts.
Yeah.
You divide by 16,000 and you're getting almost 660 or something. It's nothing to write home about. You need to really do proper collection. Compliance has to be almost 99%. So if we collect and we are distributing, distribution is done in two forms, like what we are doing right now.
Right.
There's one called general distribution, and then there's scientific distribution. General distribution is like from Matatu, from the salons and so on, because we may not be able to determine when did they play Do Song, when did they play Eric, how
When did
many
they play
times.
Our
So we
Matala
collect
again?
generally that license.
Okay.
So we put it in a pool, divide it equally, and share.
Okay.
But then there's another one called scientific, where we ask the broadcasting stations to give us the log sheets.
Okay.
And then we see how many times did this song by so-and-so play in Spice FM, how much is according in line with the gazetted tariffs. That one play, if it's played 1,000 times, one airplay equals this. You calculate, you get the gross pay minus withholding tax, you get the net pay. That's what we are distributing. Yeah. So, but then we marry that PPP, which is general distribution, with the scientific and give you the total.
How much of that are you able to do in real sense?
You see, I
How
told you
many-
compliance was 15%
How many
last year.
media houses are able to give you?
No, they are compliant. They are compliant. They are compliant.
Are
Oh,
they giving you the logs
yes.
of how much
Oh, we have no problem.
music has been played?
Yes. But we are also going, right now we are deploying technology of our own. We just went through a procurement process. We acquired, good technology that will help even the musician to see on their phone how their music is doing in the market. Some of them will make claims that they were not paid. They have not actually registered with MCSK. And I told you, not every musician is a member of MCSK. Obviously, all music is licensed and is copyright. So what happens is, if you're not a member and you want us to pay you, you will have to make a claim. You'll have to go and look for those logs, give them to us. You do that work for yourself, which is expensive and almost impossible for an artist to do. But if you're a member of MCSK, you need to bring your song. Once you produce a song, bring it. There are people with over 300 songs, but only 5 or 6 are registered with MCSK. So what happens is, yes, we can see your music is doing very well. You have 10 million views, but we are not paying for views. So when you tell us you have 10,000 views in YouTube, it doesn't count with the royalties because then YouTube pays you separately. Skiza Tunes pay you separately. The royalties, that is general consumption of your music, which is not your personal selling of your product. It is the general consumption that is administered by your CMO. That one does not count the views on YouTube or TikTok. It goes with, is this our song? Is it my phone? And nobody registers this for you. Just the same way, Latif. If you're going to buy a car, you go and register your car. You do that yourself. There are some people who assume because they're musicians, then they will be paid the royalties. It doesn't work that way. This is business. So you take the responsibility the same way I took the responsibility, went to a shop, bought my phone, gave my details. It's mine. That's the only way you can prove it's mine. The same way I do with my car, the same way I do with my personal property. So they need to know that it's important to register your copyright. So you produce a song, come and update your catalog. You produce another one, come and update. You cannot have 300 songs out there and we only have 5. We'll be paying you
for the 5.
Less than another guy who has only 15 songs, but all of them are registered. So it's a very complicated environment. There's need for a lot of awareness, which I'm so grateful that you can invite me to talk about this because many people don't know.
That's true. So that's how you would explain
Yes.
that some folks who you would not be able to find many of your music anywhere.
Yeah.
But because they've actually registered the song with you, that's why they would be able to be a top earner.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, there's even
because
another challenge.
Complaints about
some of these elite.
How can one person who we've not heard her songs anywhere, for example,
like the one who got 727,
somebody's earning
that one is a publisher,
money.
So she represents this Tanzanian artist because they are consumed here in Kenya. And unfortunately, there's a lot of business there. I'm concerned that the highest earner in the current distribution was not a Kenyan. Yes, it's a Kenyan, but representing foreign artists,
music
like Diamond Platinum, like the Zabron singers, Israel Bonyi of Rwanda, because we play their music more.
Yeah.
You guys also don't play 90. It's supposed to be what? There's a percentage.
It's a good song.
You see, Mkono wa Bwana, Tetema is not a good song. It's good for adults. There are things that are good for adults. So if it's late at night and you're singing to your girl in a club, Tetema, that's a different context. But in a school compound, just the same way you cannot take beer to a school event. Don't go to a school event and say liquidi, fire, nakufa, nini. What is that? Why are you teaching our children bad manners?
It's music, Ezekiel. Now, when you collect the revenue, is there anywhere where within the constitution of MCSK or within Kiproba regulations that tell you what you should not, that caps how much you should spend for administration and how much goes to the owners of copyright?
Ideally, we are governed by the MEMAT, the Memorandum and Articles of Association that form MCSK. Any member of MCSK knows those memorandums and articles, and they are subject to them. Just the same way where we work, you have a letter of employment, you know what you should do. So you cannot just assume that you're a member of MCSK and you don't want to follow the rules. There are rules that determine how distribution is done. And the procedure is, once you collect, you declare. The board declares, it's given that power to declare how much. Because they are attendant costs, and there could be things. Even big companies sometimes do not give dividends for reasons. We might be embarking on an expansion so that we make our members more, our company more profitable. So the board sits. And because of the power or by the power given to it by the members, they say, like they did this year, they decided 20 million will be done for distribution in Q1.
Okay. We
hope to declare again in Q2, which will be in April. So, yes, it's guided by the MEMAT. Globally, the best practice is 70 to 30. 70 distribution, 30 on administration. But that is when the entire ecosystem is working, where you do not have to go to court to pay lawyers and spend tens of millions for them to represent you to win a case that gives you 2 million. Because that's what happens when the government neglects musicians and they leave the CMOs to their own devices. So you spend most of the money on litigation, suing media houses, suing people who are infringing on copyright. While if the government supported and give for police, for example, if we had police stopping the public service vehicles here on the highways and checking whether you have a license, one day we can raise 100 million. One day. But what happens? The police are withdrawn. So the Matatus are having a few days with our music. It's not our problem.
So currently, what is the split between distribution?
It depends. It will depend
this
on
latest payment of
so
20
many.
million.
You see, like now I came in not too long ago, and I found MCSK with debts that are not of their own making. In 2017, the government, because of cartels that have run amok in this industry, decided to take away the license. It was given to another body called Mpake, music publisher something. So they ran the copyright, the royalty collection and distribution. They never distributed, by the way, but they were the ones with the license for 2 years, 2017 to 2019. What would happen to you, Eric, if this company was denied a license as a broadcaster? You have employees, you have offices, you have overheads. Okay? So MCSK laid off some staff. They were fighting. They went to court, of course. But while the matter is ongoing, sometimes in Ambiwa, it has kizwa June, it has kizwa next year in February. You know the court process. They went into debt. So I found an institution reeling from debts amounting to about 340 million. Not because of their own making. Because of that, because the government was interfering, taking away the license, returning it. Then there's another problem. They normally give this license, sometimes even for 3 months, 6 months. Which business do you do like that? How do you plan? So this is the kind of nonsense I'm sorting out, and now I'm hated because now we are reasoning. You know, they are used, and this is another problem, they are used to a situation where, because most elite musicians do not participate in the elections of MCSK, they are not active. So you only end up with people like Duo saying, who are probably not as known or not necessarily educated, because you don't need to be a PhD holder to be a musician. So you end up with those guys. It's like the wakulima in the village. They own their property, but they need somebody who can market it and make noise and negotiate and so on. Now, when you subject the artist to an environment where they're left to their own devices, the leadership then spends most of the money fighting battles in court. So a lot of money goes to lawyers. So when you ask what is the percentage, it depends on whether you have a license. We started this year with a license and we are distributing for the first time. I don't think distribution has happened in January for the last 10 years. But because we started with a license, courtesy of the Parliamentary Committee on Arts, Sports, Arts and Heritage, they just took a decision. We went to them and reasoned the way I'm reasoning with you. One, we were asking, why would you give us a license for 3 months? Why? Why would the government do that? Because we are a company, and license is not a favor; it's a service. It's like the way Eric, and sorry for I'm trying to make you understand. You are licensed by CA, Communications Authority of Kenya, as a media house. They don't own Standard. They don't own these entities. No, they don't. So can you see? We are a company limited by guarantee, licensed by Kenya Copyright Board, the same way media houses are licensed by Communications Authority of Kenya. And you want us to tell you, this is how much we pay Eric, this is how much we pay so-and-so, this is how much we spend on our newsroom. Why?
Just award your license and let us move forward.
Give us a license. Let members hold us to account. When we go to the AGM, we present our audited accounts. Let them ask, how did you end up spending so much on the CEO? We cannot take this. Those are the members who should say that.
Okay, back to
it
my
cannot
question.
be the government. 20
million shillings.
Yes,
you paid out and distributed.
We are still distributing, by the way.
In this January,
there's good news. Allow me to announce it. This week, artists are getting 3 million. Yani pesa Italia, you know, we are distributing. We are doing it right. So we published a gazette notice, and I have it here. I can show you. We did it before we started the distribution, and they said that MCSK royalty distribution will commence on tulisema itaanza. You see this thing? This thing was in the newspapers. MCSK notice for royalty distribution.
Yeah.
We ran it in your paper in The Nation. On the 9th of January, we started on 25th. It says clearly that distribution will commence on 25th of January and run until 29th of March.
This covers what period?
About 3 months. You know why? It's quarter one. We are doing quarter one. And why are we doing it that way? We were avoiding.
So this is for royalties collected in the last 3 months of the last year?
Yes.
So this is collected in December, November, October of 2023.
Exactly.
That's what now you're distributing now.
Yes.
How much did the Secretariat spend to run its affairs?
Those are personal things, like me asking you how much did you spend as standard. You don't get
it's a matter of public interest. This is a
public interest is only to CMOs. I have a contract with my members,
16,
so there are things that I can't announce.
16,000.
Yes, but I'll give you for just transparency to show you how transparent we are. First of all, I've told you, if it's a private company, it has to meet its obligation, including paying debt, including paying KRA. One of the biggest arrears that we had were from KRA, were for KRA, and actually at some point they attached our accounts. That's what happens if you don't pay KRA. So what did we do? We committed on a payment plan. I cannot get out of it. I'll pay until I finish that money. I am a CEO. I found that situation, but I will not say I'll distribute and then not pay KRA. That's not a company. The company does not even have to distribute if you can't meet your obligations.
So from those 3 months, how much to KRA?
We earned, as of last year, as of October, about 40 million that we owed KRA. We are reducing it. We committed to our payment plan in line with this amnesty that was given that ends in June. So we pay. Sometimes we get 5 million, we pay. 2 million, we pay. And that is more. There is more pressure for me to do that than even to distribute. This is their company. This company belongs to the musicians.
I imagine
we go to an AGM. For example, we went in 2022 in November, and we told them we actually ought to have paid you 75 million. We are in arrears, but this is your company. Because of these debts, because we don't have a license, because the government is harassing us, because we have gone through all this situation, and we are on a rebound. We are now restructuring. We are deploying technology. It's very expensive to deploy this technology. We asked the members to forfeit the 75 million, and they did. It was meant as a resolution, and we filed it with the registrar. So we remove some of those debts that way, where members understand. It's during the AGM where members hold their leadership to account. It's not through the media. We are not accountable to you, Eric. The same way Standard is not accountable to anyone. I told you, once CA gives you a license to run this media house, run your show, invite whoever you want. They should not come here and tell you, how much did you collect? How much? No. That's interfering with the private business. But I'm just doing it for transparency.
For the same transparency as you're giving us, you're telling us 20 million shillings is going to be paid. That's so much you're asking. How much are you running your operations?
I told you we collected. We are 3 CMOs. We collected 200 million last year. Okay. The 200 million, you divide by 3 CMOs. We are the biggest. We get 54%. It comes to 108 million per year. Divide by 12.
9 million.
Yeah. So when you make it look like, and we have offices everywhere, in Mombasa, in Kisumu, everywhere. We pay rent. We have staff.
It costs you a lot.
It costs us a lot.
How much?
So
how much per month?
Listen, get to this conversation. You are diverting attention because you have your own mind. Listen, if we had done 90% compliance, if the matatus ain't paid, if the 1.4 billion from media houses was paid, the 200 will not be an issue. You collect little. You pay little because you must meet the other obligations. Otherwise, it's not a company. It's not a conveyor belt, Eric. It's not like money comes just to MCSK. Deploy staff. There are guys out there checking, do you have a license in this hotel?
My question has just been very simple.
Yes, come back to it now.
You've refused, and you only have 30 seconds, so I'll let it pass. My question has just been, how much is it costing you to run the Secretariat? Fixed costs, rent, those ones. But you don't have a figure.
In a month, my costs go to about 8 million.
Okay.
In a month.
Sour.
Right
That's
now.
It.
You know why?
That was my question.
Let me even give you time is up. But after June, when we clear these arrears,
go down.
Oh man, because salary is very little. It's not like we pay a lot. So that's where the confusion is, because people don't know that we have committed to KRA. We must accomplish the amnesty by June.
Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, thank you for at least answering that question, finally. He is the CEO of the Music Copyright Society of Kenya. He's been our guest. 16,000 members. You're doing well.
We are a big organization. We are the biggest CMO in Africa.
Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Have a lovely one.